Welcome to Summoner's Reef. Let's see that GT Hell versus Team Clash.
And Clash is already directing themselves for a 5-people stack here at the bottom. Fog of War. Colombo is one person here, but they have placed a nice ward. It's going to be taken out. Nothing will be found on this one, but still a great nice push. And at least a little taste of the, well, attitude that Clash might be going for in this game.
Yeah, they've gone with a really bold pick in the sides in the jungle, coming back in the meta slowly but surely, and with the Darius in the top lane, a lot of things thrown up into the air. This is not the kind of composition we've seen previously. This one has a lot of teamfight potential, or you can leave the Darius off in a side lane and not group up. Either can work. You're against a Gwen in the jungle too, to be fair, so it's not like we have got standard basic junglers on either side of the map. Looks like both are going to start with the standard basic pathing that we've seen throughout all of this preseason for so far. You start on the top side, you full clear, and then you fight over that bot lane scuttle crab.
Well, to be fair, we have already seen Gwen in the jungle, and again, we're having the flashbacks from the very beginning of Season 12. Gwen was going into the jungle quite often, and in fact, she was a very nice flex pick to go into early in the draft, because she could jungle quite nicely, but then a couple of changes here and there, she was really trying to find her pathing back into the jungle, but only now managed to do so, still going with a slow clear, but we will see how it's going to work around the ganks, because these two junglers are not here just to be farming up in the jungle, they are there to go into the lanes and set up those ganks.
Yes, they really are, and it's so unusual, right? We all mentioned these drafts have so much different things to the table, and to the both junglers starting on opposite sides is going to direct them to a potential encounter for the Scuttle Crab later on in this bottom river. So far, Salas, as you mentioned, I think it was Solari, about the changes in the jungle, or maybe it was Blaxa. Both of you amazing analytical sentences, so I could say that it might have been any of you, but basically how much that would help this champion to clear out the way, the jungle, and it's working out pretty well, especially with some help from the bot lane too.
Interesting with this early ward being placed, and the fact that Sheena has actually decided to skip a couple of camps, moved straight past the Krug camp, has moved straight past the blue buff as well, just looking for an early gank, but because of that ward being placed, really smart right here out of G2 Hell's bot lane, knowing that something might be up, but they don't expect a gank at level 3 right now. Need to be so careful. Gonna spot it out though and walk this one off.
Oh my god, spot it out like that. Yeah, I definitely think they were not expecting Sheena there. They saw Sheena removing the wood, but probably the assumption there was that she would stay in the jungle and continue clearing up, instead trying to go for a gank. And it was a very nice setup, to be honest, but not enough. And Karina is around, to be fair, so that could have been a very quick Hana gank, but Karina is losing really a lot of HP on a clear, because this is Gwen, and this is not the champion who's feeling the most comfortable and has the fastest clears out there.
Yeah, definitely not. And to be fair, I think it was very bold from Sheena to go from getting spotted in a ward, clearing it with a sweeper, and going directly into the Tribosh. That is a lot to happen, but Karina is following up on this one as they try to land a root from both abilities there, Jhin and Karma. It doesn't land, but they're still getting some pressure, just making sure that if it is necessary that they're there. Lilian, on the other hand, getting a lot of damage onto Tifa, who has to reset now. They still have the TP available. Sana and Sheena have the control over the topside river. They take down the little vision flower, the Scuttle Crab as well, so Clash is looking differently from the last game, a little more comfortable in this early.
And neither of these junglers have found any early action despite both of them trying. If you are Karina, you're not going to have quite so much success as your opposition simply because you don't have the same level of setup CC. You're really relying on your laners being able to set you up for success. And currently at this point into the game, most of your lanes don't actually have that much hard CC that's particularly easy to land. The Gnar all gets that CC from getting into that raged up rules form, and you're kind of waiting on timers for that, which might not necessarily line up with when you want to gank. Mid lane doesn't have any true hard CC that you can land very easily. Bot lane's kind of your best bet, but because they are constantly pushing Cosmic and Kiana under tower, that's not a particularly good lane to gank into either, and so it's a bit of a difficult one for Karina to actually find any ganks. Instead, she's just looking to run through the jungle, get as much farm as possible, because this Gwen coming into a team fight or on a split push can be exceptionally strong.
Well, to be fair, I have to say that it works perfectly for both of the junglers, because the whole idea of them going into the jungle and these champions is kind of mirroring each other. Sheena also has been spotted around the lanes for quite a couple of times already. Last time seen on the top lane, seeing if maybe there is any possibility to go and help Sana around time. Even used the ghost a little bit earlier, so sitting there in a little bit of an uncomfortable position. But other than that, feeling rather well, because look at the minion start on the top lane. So far, it's going so good for both. But it doesn't mean that it's looking good in the perspective, because Darius is not the champ. Oh my god, what's going on?
And there we go. The trap into the hook is going to land so much damage on Colombo, but it's coming back towards Kiana, as Cultiz has been incredible in this gen, as she has done in the previous match. Both junglers are coming around. Sheena has been spotted. Karina, though, is still in a good safe place. Sheena trying to get all the pressure in regards to positioning, has spotted a ward, so they know that nothing is going to be much sneaky in regards to ganking. But it was interesting to see how, even though Karma was the one that stepped on the trap, got initiated by the hook, landed Ignite on her as well, and still Cultus was enough to deal more damage back onto Kiana, which is absolutely much tankier than Karma, Rayblox.
It's because, unfortunately, Jhin in the early game just does a ridiculous amount of damage. Having that confirmed crit means that once you get a full rotation of auto attacks out of Caitlyn, you're in a much stronger position than this Caitlyn in the early game. Caitlyn, once she hits 2 to 3 items though, once you have that kind of eye edge Kraken, if that's the sort of build path we're going towards for Cosmic, you're going to be dealing a lot more damage than the Jhin, who will need to scale up for a little bit longer. But during this first couple of minutes of the game, you need to be so careful of this Jhin Karma combo, especially with all of that shielding that can come out of her.
However, we were talking about the bot lane, and we're talking about all the possibilities around it. The first dragon of the game has been alive for quite some time already, so if only either of the guns could have worked out for either of the teams, that could have been transferred onto the Drake. But we are right now approaching the moment when the Herald, the first Herald of the game, is going to spawn, and I can see already quite some rotations of both teams towards this part of the map.
Yes, we have seen a couple of pings around the Herald pit. We have Kiana following up. So is the G2's support there. Karma is going to be another one possibility of disengaging. Karina almost gets caught up there trying to clear the control ward. Both ADCs are still in the bot lane, so it's a 4v4 scenario if the rest of G2 gathers around in this one. Damage is being dealt on the Herald, but we know how Karina can be so precise in stealing those objectives. This might has been very much on point. Lysia is going in, stuns in as the Meganar. It's going to land, but one of the players from QLASH has been found. The soon death rather than later. Lillian might be next, as the damage coming from the snipe in Culti's hand. Might even follow up on Kiana too. The damage was so close of... yeah, it was almost an ace. It just wasn't, because Cosmic was in the bottom lane and Kiana is still left standing.
Oh my god, look at this. You can see Lysia sat on the edge, right on the edge of that Narbar. Upgrades only manages to get one onto the stun, but it's enough to send Shiner running. Then you've caught Ashana, who stepped way too far forwards. You can see the needlework out of Karina, dealing a ton of damage, and Lysia on the front line, slowing people up, stunning them down. A lovely little snipe right here out of the roam, and then you nearly end up with one more kill. Not quite gonna take down Kiana, but so very close on that one to getting even more kills into the back pocket of G2. They are here to play right now. They want to go right to bed and win this series 2-0.
Oh, absolutely. A little bit tired after so many games in a row, which is understandable, but still, what G2 are really good at, and it's showcasing so nicely in this series, is that they are good at realizing what are the key winning components and working around them. Previous game, for example, very obvious, Karina on Bel'Veth, but this time it is Lysia playing on Gna and playing around Gna's rage how do you call it? Okay, playing around Gna's Rage is so extremely important. It can allow you for so many beautiful engage opportunities, steal opportunities, whatever. Just landing that hard CC from Gna at the right moment is so crucial, and that was such a beautiful timing from their side.
Yes, we're arriving the 10-minute mark of this game. The Drake hasn't yet been touched by either of these teams. And in the bottom lane, the Herald has been dropped. There's going to be a charge for a couple of gold, but it's just going to be for the pocket of Karina in this one since nobody was around. The vision in around the pit is for Clash in this one, but it looks like Karina is still around the area, the bottom lane as well. So is the Victor, and Victor has the Storm and might be able to cause some damage if they try to go for an engage. Doesn't look like they are too much interested in it. They're just going to give in the Drake for Clash, as it's not, I mean, the biggest of the Drakes, isn't it? Like the Cloud Drake?
I mean, it feels pretty good to get that first Drake. More important than the individual Drake itself is beginning to make your way towards that Soul. Having Soul has been a real indicator of being able to win this game clearly. It means you're in control enough to be able to take those Drakes, as well as giving you a couple of extra buffs to help out. There was no way that Drake fight was going to turn into a true fight, because Lizzie was in the top lane, whereas Sana had roamed her way down. See a little bit of a fight here, but this shouldn't result in any...
Whoa.
Oh? Shouldn't.
Oh,
No,
Never mind.
yeah, it shouldn't. But then all of
sure?
a sudden, Clash is getting a dive onto the Narn. I mean, of course, Darius is supposed to do something like that. The sneaky Karina is just behind the corner. We have no idea about it. And they're going to engage, but the counter game from Sheena has followed up too. Nobody is on the
Curtain
Jin, so he's
call.
going to be able to get the curtain call on everybody. Colombo has been left alive, and Cosmic is the only one left standing. If she dodges, she doesn't, but Carltis is still not going to commit on this one since they already had the upper hand. Now coming into a 5-1 kill advantage for G2 Help.
Oh, Caltus with a very, very nice play right there. That curtain call was beautiful. The snipe, if it had landed onto Cosmic, it might not have resulted in a kill. Instead, just about threading the needle right here. You can see Karina sat over this wall, not expecting for Sheena to be there as well. Doesn't even matter though. Curtain call comes in. Manages to miss the first shot, which is unfortunate, but the next three all land perfectly. That snipe right there to just about get onto the Silas, pick up that kill. It looks like Cosmic might go down, but the reload time just a little bit too long right now for Caltis, but still, more kills going over onto this Jhin, and you can worry about a Jhin when they fall behind, because they really don't deal enough damage to stride through anybody, but in this situation, you are going to get one shot by a Jhin who's just speeding around the map.
And you're not going to be able to do absolutely anything about it because you're too busy dancing around Gwen. And this is Gwen who is already past level 6. She already is running around with a Nashor's Tooth, and is the moment the Rift Maker also hits her inventory, she's going to be absolutely unstoppable in the teamfights because the amount of damage, the true damage that she's going to be able to put on the table is going to be pretty much unmatched.
Yes, it will. And this advantage that G2 has been put up on the hands of Caltis is amazing because as a Jhin, you don't expect to see this champion roaming around, yet the curtain calls have been so amazing coming from their first fight in the mid lane, where we had the snipe going on Lydiane just at the very last edge of it, but so perfectly done, almost taking out Kiana alongside her. So it has been amazing how much this player can do with this champion on her hands. And well, it's still not nothing lost, I would say, for the bot lane though, because there's so much that Caitlyn can still do throughout the game. She is so strong in the mid and can still keep up in the late. So Bloxer, do you think there's anything that Clash is doing right, or anything that they're lacking doing right now?
Well, you need to find a little bit more of an advantage during the early stages of the game as the Caitlyn usually, but unfortunately versus a Jhin Karma, you're just not going to be able to push in anywhere near far enough. You need to get Sana ahead right now. Sure, the Darius has 1 kill, but Darius only having 1 kill 14 minutes into the game just isn't enough. You saw the solo kill onto Lysia. I didn't expect it to quite happen in that moment. You expect Gnar to be able to get away, but that transform just didn't come through. Lilian having to flash away. Everything remains fine. And so, just gotta find a way to get this Darius ahead, otherwise gonna fall behind and certainly have a lot less impact on the map than this Gnar is going to be able to.
And maybe...
Oh, definitely.
Yeah. Oh, look at that. Yeah, they're starting the Herald, so I'm getting a little bit intrigued here as to whether Clash are going to do anything about it, but judging by the fact they're almost all here and stopping the Herald, they want to do quite a lot.
Jhin flank?
Oh my
Yes,
god.
and it's starting to get a lot of damage on Senna already. Lillian has an ignite on her name, and the Herald
Cutlass.
is falling very low. I believe
Oh.
Karina
Cutlass.
got it. I don't know if they did they steal it? I believe they did. And even the curtain call, even though it has landed, it was no, it wasn't a steal. Still Karina gets the buff for G2 once again. So that's going to be amazing on her pocket. I'm telling you, this girl has been insane in the jungle.
Really has been. Karina has been all across the map on a Gwen as well. Not the sort of champion you expect to be trying to find ganks throughout the board, but actually been finding a decent amount. Now that the Needle work is available too, going to be able to deal a ton of damage, and a possible fight right here. Stuns landing. No!
Yes, it is. And the come in alongside the knock-up, flash over the wall for Kiana is going to be one less threat. But there it is again. It's Silas stealing Na's ultimate. But even though it did, it landed on so many people. It's coming back around. It's flipping on that face. Sun is not able to do much on that one, and everybody is falling one after the other. Lillian so close. There it is. Tifa finalizes a nice flash from Cosmic, avoiding death. Oh my lord, for a second I thought Sheena was absolutely popping off, but then I don't really know. What was it, Solari, that J2 did that? So they maintained themselves so healthy for so long, and Clash wasn't able to do damage even though all the team had been stunned.
What can I tell you? Sometimes you steal a good ultimate and even manage to land it correctly, but there is Gwen on the enemy team who is feeling absolutely comfortable with the items, and not really much you can put about her damage.
Look at this. You can see with the nice knob onto Kana, though, that's not exactly who you want to get. And you think, Sheena, alright, with that stolen Nara ultimate, 4 people up against the wall, bang, 3 of them stunned up right here. It should be a great team fight. But the turn is so quick. Tifa has that invulnerability as well. And then you get to just turn around and run through the opposition. The Darius isn't far enough ahead to make this kind of play work. And your Silas isn't either. Doesn't have enough items to be able to go in quite that far and survive, and the fight just turns instantaneously, and Cutlass, who is exactly who you want to be untouched, remains untouched, able to just sit back, relax, and lay down the pain.
Yeah, that's the thing. As Clash, you really want to be seeing your Silas and Darius so much more far ahead compared to where they are right now. Though they want to be seeing themselves on the top of Columble maybe, but Columble is looking pretty safe instead. However, yeah, going into a fight like that, you already have a Gwen on the enemy side who was running 2-0, I believe, a little bit earlier already with a completed item that gives her a lot of strength and a lot of possibilities to run around in the fights. And you are not in a position to throw anything against her to match her damage. And even you can see Sana trying to go for some ultimates here and there, but it absolutely did not work because she's dying way before she's able to land the damage.
Yes, that's very unfortunate, but it's precisely what Blocks has said. You have the champions to make things work. You have Sana on the Darius, you have Sheena on the Silas, but they aren't strong enough to deal all the damage necessary to take them down in that one blow. And, well, oh, for a second I thought, wait, was that the ultimate? I'm a little confused. But in the top lane, though, it's the 2 bot laners going for Sana. They're going to try to get the dodges on those knives.
She's so speedy.
There we go. One more. Hey, she does it. She is following around. Caitlyn as well with the ace in the hole, trying to just pressure them away. Kiana is here, maybe trying to get a hook onto Colombo. I think they're just aiming towards trying to defend this turret. If they can clear up this wave, it might be possible because Jin can't be that exposed to try and take this one down, but maybe at the end of the day they're just going to concede it and go for another side of the map. As the mid lane tier 1 has dropped, another is going to go on the top and is looking a little harsh for Clash right now.
Oh, the amount of turret gold that's coming straight into the back pockets of G2 Hell. They got embarrassed yesterday being taken out 2-0 by Clash. It looks like Karma is on their way straight towards them. Clash having a horrible time of it, down by about 8,000 gold at this point in the game, have no turrets, and that means that they have so little ability to walk out of their base. You can see from the vision wall that is being set up by G2 constantly across the map. Look at the top side specifically, so much vision, and it's so scary to walk around the map right now for Clash.
Yes, and that is not where you want to be finding yourself, because we're talking about Lysia, who really shines whenever it comes to fighting in very enclosed spaces. We're talking about Karina, who loves sitting in the bush waiting for you to scare the hell out of you. And in general, you really don't want to be caught absolutely anywhere in the jungle, so you really need to step up in your wooing game right now as Clash if you want to survive.
Yes, and well, they're going to need to be very cautious on how they do it, because right now, even though they have the means on engaging, they don't have the damage, but they still have opportunities to do so. They have to be, and I believe Block said that is a question for you. I believe it would rely on them trying to get pickoffs, because the team fights aren't quite in their favor right now.
No, the team fights are not going to work out in their favour, but your pick potential is massive. If you are able to find one of those Nautilus hooks directly onto a squishy target, you have the ability to take them out with a full CC chain, and you have a lot of single target damage coming out. You really need some Sana resets as well if you want to win a team fight, but if not, just Lilian managing to find somebody with that full unleashed power should be able to 100 to 0 somebody like Tifa or Callus. Either of those definitely squishy enough to at least make a dent into. Cosmic alongside with an ace in the hole, that could work too. And so you just find a couple picks, and then you can rotate into these team fights in a 4 versus 5 situation, rather than these straight 5v5s, which has certainly not been going in their favour. On the other hand, if you do want to 5v5, you have got to find a way to get on to Caldas, because at the moment, they are just being able to sit so far back, completely untouched, and it is making the game so difficult for Clash when they come into these team fights.
And again, both of these problems are really talking about the lack of the vision on the side of Clash, because for both the big potential and both for the possibility to try to outflank the enemy, you need to understand where exactly they are and how safe it's going to be for you to try and do something around them. Thank you very much, production. That's absolutely stunning. But because Clash literally never know where exactly G2 are on the map at any given moment, they cannot afford to go for any risky tactics. And at the same time, they have to do something, because if they just sit back, sit down, relax, and wait for G2 to do anything on the map, they're not going to be winning. They are so behind right now. We're talking about almost a 9,000 gold difference between the teams, and this is not what you want to be seeing at 22nd minute in the game.
Oh, you do not, Solari. And I think at this point, maybe Clash has to be aware of where the enemy is and just go the other way. Because the fights are not going to go for them at this point. You have a 4-0-3 Gwen, 2-0-5 Jin. At least they're going to get this objective bounty on the mid lane, so that's really nice. It's a lovely little gold for Clash. And they're going to have to rely on taking those objective bounties to be able to get the upper hand on a potential flip. And I think I'm just going to say that because I thought it was funny. I think Cultus just used her Gale Force there. So that might be something to take into consideration, since the Baron is live. And Clash looks to be rotating to this side of the map. Lilian has the TP, so we might be looking for something more spicy coming up. Karina going on Cosmic has been caught out of guard. They have to try to use the net away alongside the Gale Force. They're able to escape. Kiana so close to dead. Now it's Sheena has to flash away, but they don't manage to escape with their lives. And G2 being so aggressive on every other opportunity they find, and it's paying out really well.
Oh, you could see the TP was just called instantly, going straight in. Now that Sheena is dead, there is absolutely no smite available for Clash. If they want to get into this Baron, take it away. They have so few opportunities to do so. It should just go straight into the pockets of G2. Oh, Columbo does go down.
Columbo!
Oh, woo. But the Baron is secured right here for G2. They walk away with the objective, even if they lose the life of their support. Certainly a trade G2 will take as they begin their march towards victory in this tournament.
As long as it's not somebody who has a very big split push potential, they should be fine with losing that member of their team. As long as it guarantees them the Baron, it's all good. And as long even as they lose their turret on the top lane, this outer turret, they still should be fine. And they should be able to push over that moment. Look at that. You have Gwen, who is an excellent and very quick split push. You have Victor, who we see on the side lanes really open. So literally have everything in your hands to go on and have a nice split push and utilize the Baron buff really good. Karina here is on the flank, and she is absolutely absolutely unstoppable. But here, look at the damage output, the control. Lysia is here, no fear, nothing stopping her from going and securing this kill for Karina in the end. But well, it's a kill for the team, right?
It surely is, Solari. And oh my god, I was so looking forward to a potential steal on the Piltover pacifier from Cosmic that it was very close, but of course it's not that much damage. It's not like it's a final spark from Lux that's going to be able to try to steal it. Though G2 has all the control over this jungle, QLASH is trying to gather and try to recover some of it, but the ground is pretty much just blue wards and blue champions, so they're gonna have to remain underneath that turret. And right now, nothing is on the board, so 1 minute for the next Drake, and having the Baron buff, they're going to be able to push this one out. I don't think they would go anywhere else.
Hey, you want to get priority in this bot lane so you can then rotate back to get the Drake once it spawns in just a couple of seconds time, and you can just keep pushing forwards, allowing your cannon minions to do most of the work. There isn't really any good long range wave control right now coming out from QLASH, despite the fact that they should be finding it a little bit easier to clear these waves. Nobody's actually able to step up quite far enough to take them out. This turret should fall. You're also going to lose the one in the mid lane, and slowly but surely the map constricts. Right now QLASH can feel the trains tightening around them as they get closer and closer to staring down a loss.
Okay,
Yeah,
Karina,
Sheena, look. Sheena is looking for a flank, but she might be getting countered to God here. Lysia trying to go for a flank herself. So much damage onto QLASH's jungler, and she's gonna probably have to reset on this one while trying to take the minions, clear the wave here. Flash forward from Lysia. They go in. It's enough damage to get the healing, and then Sonya's into it. But it's not much. They're gonna still have to fight for some more. Lysia is still healthy, up and running. The last hit from the turret is gonna make sure that she goes down. 4v2. The damage with the Baron is gonna be it. I think this is it. G2 Hell gets the victory in the grand finals of the Rising Stars. They are our champions.
Oh my god,